tonight's topic is motivation.
Motivation. You know, I love seeing the motivation that so many of you have to just keep going and keep doing this no matter what. And I think that that is very motivating for all of us. You know what I mean? It's like contagious. You know, you just see somebody that's doing it, somebody that's been doing it for a long time, and there's no stopping them. And that's me, and that's a lot of other people now. Thank you, God, because we've been doing this meeting now for over 2 years, and there's people here that have been here from the very beginning, and they've completely rearranged their lives. And it's very motivating to hear them, you know, but the motivation, it really has to come from within, you know, to really know, like, I want to do this for me, not because you're doing it too, not because I should or I have to, or, you know, I'm doing it so I can be healthy for my grandchildren, and, you know, just a lot of things like outside of yourself. It has to just come from that love of self. That's what I think. If you're in a position where you don't feel like you love yourself because you're disappointed in yourself, because you've let yourself go, and just know that if you're here, that means that you're refocusing, you're pivoting from this lifestyle that's not serving you well, and you're showing up here. You're showing up here, whether you're doing it or not. This is a beginning, but it's so much better to show up here and be doing it, because it's the whole package. You know what I mean? It's the whole package, and it all comes from self-love. Like, you just have to love yourself too much to, you know, hurt yourself with food anymore. You know, it's like, I'm just done with that. I'm just done with that. And I'm very motivated, as I'm in my late 60s now. You know, I'm very motivated to just keep my body going like this. You know, like, I don't want to slow down. You know, I don't want to get old and shitty. You know, I have to play a part in that. Feeling like I love myself, feeling good every day, and just feeling grateful every day. All of that stuff keeps me motivated to just not want to get off the train. I don't want to get off the train. I like this train ride. It's really cool, you know, and I love all you passengers that are on the train with me, and we're all going in this direction. We're going in the right direction, you know, and it's very motivating when I see almost 50 people here. Like, there's 50 people that are like, I'm dialing in because I want to hear everybody, because I don't want to forget what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and how this is making me feel, you know. So that's what I have on motivation. What do you have on motivation, Nicole?
Yeah, well, I gave this a little thought too, about what it is that has really changed for me over the last couple of years. And it really is that doing this makes me very, very happy. You know, I'm not trying real hard to do the plan. You know, I'm working at it and making sure I'm prepared, but I'm not trying to, like, get up the oomph to try something again, which I did for, you know, my whole adult life. And so what's really motivating to me is just, I am shocked that there really is joy that comes from choosing to serve yourself well, that isn't trying to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and white knuckle it, that it really is there, and it's like a fountain that just keeps going. And that to me is like the golden nugget in all of this, because it's a thing that's happened, and I notice it. Like, I don't want the other food. I don't want that other life. I don't want my mobility to be impacted. I don't want to be exhausted anymore. And I like looking back and remembering what my life was like, because it was really hard to get up the energy to do just about everything I had to do, and it wiped me out. And I'm telling you, I have so much energy, which is just so bizarre, and it doesn't wear out. I don't know what is going on, you know? So I'm like, when am I going to hit a wall, And it doesn't happen. I wake up with energy. I have energy all day. I do get tired, like when it's time to be tired. And then I usually think, oh, here comes the second wind, so it's just so different than the way it used to be. I used to be, exhausted after working all day, and I sit all day, and I would, really not be able to exercise or take even a short walk. So the old life and remembering what that was like really motivates me. And the way I feel most of all is something I don't want to lose, and that motivates me too. But as many of you know, I just got back just a couple hours ago from a trip, and I got a huge cooler, and I made all my food, and I got ice periodically, and I was driving the car with my cooler, and I named my cooler because it was an igloo cooler that was too big. I got it at a thrift store, so I named it Lulu because she was riding shotgun with me, and I'm like, this is my baby right here, I with all my good healthy food. But somebody might say, gosh, why would you want that? That's a lot. That is over the top. That is too much. But I'm very motivated to do it because I don't want any of this slipping, because it makes me feel so good. And yes, it's a little bit of a challenge, but it's a joyful challenge. It's something I want to do. It isn't like, oh, I got to go do this. So that joy that just is inside, it's not just a word, like a line that Lulu has said, like I feel it. And I guess I'm surprised because in the beginning I thought, well, this is kind of hard. This is kind of hard, all this, and it's a big life change. But it happens, and then, you just start rolling with it, and I don't want to give it up. And I spent time, walking up and down the beach, even with my foot problem. I'm able to do so much more. I fit in that plane seat, which, I think that's the thing too, when you've gone from a higher weight and you've lost weight, I think you have the possibility for a lot more joy than someone who's always had a healthy weight, because it's so thrilling, because it didn't used to be that way. It used to be like I'd get in that seat and I would just kind of like feel like I was suffering. I was all cramped up. It was painful. I'm like, oh, this flight is so long. I'm uncomfortable. Now I'm sitting there and I have my big salad in my container and I'm just having it. And it's like, I'm thrilled with this. So it's just, I guess it's just that the biggest motivator for me is the joy I feel now and not wanting that other way anymore. So that's what I've got on motivation. That's what keeps me going, every day, and actually loving doing it and not just like thinking this is a lot of work or, yeah.
And something, Nicole, like there are people that are doing this food plan that haven't lost a lot of weight, but I think that they have the same thrill that you and I have, because they're doing it for other reasons, like for health. So now you're remembering, suffering in a chair on a plane, and all the discomfort that overweight is. And I always fit in a plane seat, but I struggled. It's exhausting to carry that weight around everywhere you go. It's exhausting. So you get that new all that energy, and people are always saying to me, like, where do you get all your energy? My God, it's just like, from my food. I get it from my food, and being in a normal sized body, also I'm not expending that energy just trying to carry my body around, Mm-hmm. But people that are remembering health issues that have gone away, like, you don't forget that, and you and I don't forget the past, and it's a good idea not to forget it. And here is a place where we talk about it and remember it. We're either remembering our own, or we're reliving our own through other people that are suffering, that are here talking about it, and you're just like that was me. This is why I do this. That was me. But anybody that's here, like I said, anybody that's here has pivoted. Hopefully that you stay with us, and hopefully you do the plan for yourself. It's all about you. I just feel like when I follow this plan, I'm a happier person. If I'm a happier person, then I'm a happier person to be around. You know, so I feel like the whole world benefits by me following this food plan. You know, anybody that comes in contact with me. And I think that you could say the same thing, that like when you love yourself, that's where love comes from. True love for self. Then you can love other people, you know?
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think a huge component of it is your mental state.
Yeah.
Like my mental state, I used to be, thinking like I just get to be so much more of who I really am, and have a lot of fun and feel joy, because I'm not busy thinking, I'm not busy feeling the effects of being very overweight.
And
I'm
shame.
also not.
And the shame.
The shame. That's just what I was going to say. The embarrassment. Like I find myself dancing down the grocery aisle, and I would be like, oh, I don't want anyone to see me and think, what has she got? And I just don't even think about that anymore. I just am like, if I want to, and talking to people, I find myself like, hey, but what do you do? What do you got there? Oh, that's neat. Before I would just be like, I feel ashamed of myself because I was, overweight and just kind of avoid people, avoid interacting. And it's like just discovering like who you really are, and not with like the cloud over you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good.
The shame is a big one, the shame of eating in public, the shame of appearing in public at a large size. Just these things that, because, of the kind of like our society sets things up where you might feel shame, but that's something you do to yourself. You say, I'm not okay, or people are going to judge me. When you start loving yourself, it doesn't really even matter anymore. Like, I also love to share pictures of, me at my higher weights, and I don't think, oh God, look how bad this was. I think, that was me. I've been on a journey. I've been through some stuff, and I found, this wonderful plan, and it's giving me a lot of joy. So it isn't even like I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed anymore of what I used to be either.
Yeah, exactly. Good, Nicole.
So,
yay.
All right. Well, let's hear some more motivation, and we'll start with Janae.
Hi, Janae.
Hi, how's everyone doing?
Good.
So I just got back to Nicole. I had traveled to Alabama with my husband. He's in the Navy, and so we went home to go take care of some things. And it was a super busy week, but I am more motivated now than ever. I do need to dial down how Lulu and Nicole do the traveling with the food in the cooler. I need to dial that down, but I didn't gain any weight. And my motivation, like I've lost 20 pounds. I went from, a little over 20. I went from 273 to 249 and since January. And so a lot of the family members hadn't seen me. So when my daughter saw me, she was like, wow, Mom. She's like, you're doing so good. And so we started walking together. So it motivated her to get back into her health journey. And then I struggled with our refrigerator went on the blink over there, and I was struggling with the food thing, but like I skipped a meal instead of eating something I wasn't supposed to, and then when at the restaurants, I chose very carefully and tried to eyeball the measurements, and so I stayed as on track as I could with that. My daughter couldn't believe that I drank coffee without any sweetener. But I told her, I said, you adjust, I told her, I said, nothing tastes as good as losing weight feels, because you just, like everything that you've been saying about the energy and the loose clothes. I am so loving the loose clothes, and I'm ready to start, swapping things out with the thrift stores soon. But my big motivator was when I went to my doctor for all the lab works and the checkups. I had scrunched it all into 1 week. And when my doctors could not believe how much weight I had lost so quickly, that I did it all naturally, he offered me Ozempic, and I said, no. I said, I'm going to do this the healthy way. And he said, well, it's working for you, so keep doing what you're doing. And then I had my heart checked out. My heart doctor couldn't believe that I was on so little medication. He said, I think you can get off the blood pressure medicine pretty soon if you keep doing this. And then my cholesterol numbers came back as my doctor said, you have the cholesterol of a woman in her 30s. Like, I don't know how you did that. And I'm just like, so I was so motivated by all of this news. And I'm like, that's just since January. Think what's going to happen after a year. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see what size I'm going to fit into. I'm going up and down the stairs easier, and other people that I love are noticing, and they're like, hey, I want to feel like that too, you know? And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that. I still have a long way to go. I still have a lot to learn, but I've never been more motivated. I'm more motivated now than I was in the beginning. And I'm just so excited for everybody here, because we're all on this beautiful journey together, just being the best selves that we could be.
Yeah. Look at you taking good care of Janae. You know?
It feels great.
Look at the changes just since January. And like you said, how can that not be motivating enough just to say, like, why would I ever get off this train? That would be pure insanity.
Yeah, and now when I walk down the aisles at the store, the cake boxes and stuff like that, my husband's even pointing out, can you believe we used to eat that junk?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, we're not even tempted by it. You know, and I look at some things, I'm like, oh, I wonder what's in this. And now we're reading everything, and we're like, there's sugar in absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, you got to check all your labels. It's in things that you wouldn't even, it's like, why? Why? Yeah. You know, why would you, anyone thought to add sugar to this? But yeah, you got to really look at the labels.
And I found out that maltodextrin is in a lot of the diet products. And a lot of people think that diet products are still going to be on the okay list, but they're really not, because I looked into maltodextrin, and it makes you hoard weight. It prevents you from losing weight, and it's not good for us. So we have to be really careful about those low calorie diet type things.
None of those low calorie things are on. Anything that has like an ingredient list typically isn't on this program. Other than like if you like hummus that has an ingredient list. But if you look at the ingredient list of that, it's all food. It's all like real food, like things that have an ingredient list that actually you know what each thing is, you know?
Yeah.
But all these, the chemicals and stuff, just skip it.
Yeah, and then one of my daughters said, well, I can't afford to eat like that, to eat organic and everything. And I said, well, really, if you think about it, all the money you're wasting on the ice cream and the boxed things and the things we're not supposed to have, all that money can be transferred over to the organic veggies, and you're really not spending that much more money if it kind of balances out. Maybe a little more, because the economy, but
but if you stop going to restaurants, that's a lot of people that are not following a healthy food plan. Are not everybody's always cooking at home. They're the drive-throughs and restaurants, going out to eat a few times a week. That's expensive, and the grocery you can buy with like a $30 or $40 meal out,
right.
You can buy a lot of really good healthy groceries with that, good quality groceries with that. So I don't feel like it's any more. And and if your daughter is interested in this plan and she needs some budgeting ideas, just send it to Pam's videos. Pam did 2 videos on the budgeting. Did you see the links to those?
I didn't, but I'm interested in watching that. I want to take notes.
Okay. I'll put the links to those in the Facebook group.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I think I did, because we just mentioned them. We mentioned them either last week or the week before.
If you scroll back a little bit, they're not too far, but you can also search, you can also search on the page. But you did post them, I think, after our last meeting.
Yeah, it's fairly recently, but Pam is like the queen of eating healthy on a budget. And she did a whole presentation on one whole meeting. It was all her talking about eating on a budget and how she does it.
Okay.
She's done it a couple times.
Yeah, so
for us.
She did it probably over a year ago, and then she just recently did an updated one, like with just more ideas. So I'll give you the link to both of those.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out too, like you save money on, doctor's bills too, when your health is really improved, And then one other point, just in case anyone is new, even hummus, you want to check all the ingredients though to make sure there's no sugar, because a lot of the same brands, like, there's brand with different kinds, like red pepper or garlic, and you can find one that has no sugar or sweetener, and the same brand in another flavor might have it. So just always check the ingredients, because it's very insidious how they sneak those sugars in there.
And you see the whole display of all the different kinds of hummus. And, you got to really hunt for the one without sugar. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just as delicious. You don't need the one with the sugar. We don't need to be doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Janae. I love that excitement you got. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, next we have Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hello, everyone. So nice to be here this evening. Two things I wanted to say about motivation, and they have to do with mobility and time. So mobility, Nicole, I can relate exactly to what you're saying. I remember, 75 pounds ago, I couldn't get off the couch. Mobility was just non-existent for me. And now to be able, even with a hip issue, to be able to walk, to be able to, just go through my day and, like you said, just not feel exhausted all the time just from having to carry around so much extra weight. In fact, last year, when, like, my husband and I will go to the park sometimes, and I walk at the park. And last year, I remember toward the end of the season, I was walking at the park, and I said to my husband, I said, I feel so light. I almost feel like a feather walking. And it was just so that's a big motivator for me. I don't want to jeopardize this being able to be mobile and not feel exhausted all the time from having to carry around extra weight. So that's number one. Second of all, the other thing too is time, because, again, I think a lot of us, we are a little bit older, and, we realize that, we're getting closer to wherever the good Lord is going to take us, and we don't want to. Mine is, I want to keep going in the right direction. At my age, I don't want to take any more chances. I don't want to take a chance on goofing something up and not doing this right. So, and also the last thing I want to say too are these meetings. These meetings are huge motivators and help keep me, and I'm sure all of us, on track. So that's what I wanted to say about motivation.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Thanks for letting me share.
And not just having the weight on is exhausting. And like I was just thinking about, you having a hip issue, and imagine if you had the hip issue you have today with 75 pounds carrying around on those hips. That would be, you'd probably be immobile,
Exactly.
Yeah. But, not just physically exhausting, but the whole dieting and starting a diet and failing and being disappointed in yourself, that's exhausting too. Right. It's mentally exhausting. It's draining. Like, you spend the whole day thinking about what you should be doing. You know, I would be sitting
Right.
there, I would be sitting there with notebooks, and I'd have a whole plan, and I'd be writing everything I'm going to do and all that. And then there'd be like all crumbs all over it before I was done. You know? and then I'd be like, oh yeah, well, I guess maybe I'll start this tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe the next day. Oh yeah, maybe next week. And you know, it was like, just, that's a hard life. And then, so you're living that emotionally and mentally hard life. And then on top of it all, you got the shame and the physical weight that's troubling, and it's just a whole package for disaster. And like you say, we're all getting up there in age, and you know, like, I don't know how long we're all going to live, and it's really about quality
Right.
of life. Like, you know, I don't believe I have much control over the quantity, but I feel like I can really contribute to the quality, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's what we're doing, just going to keep contributing to the quality of your own life. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks, Cynthia.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Good job. Love it.
Yeah, I kind of like to think about how if every day you picked up like a 1 pound weight, you know, and the next day you picked up 2 pounds, and the next day you picked up 3, and then, you know, however much maybe that you had to lose, like how exhausting that would be just to suddenly have to carry it. Like when you get a bag of groceries and it's 20 pounds and you're like, oh, I can't carry this very long. But to think, you know, I've had, you know, a lot more than that I was carrying around. So it's just kind of neat to think about, like, of course it's going to be exhausting, but it creeps and creeps and you get used to it, and then you don't realize what it's robbing from you, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And all that weight on your and that work on your heart and your organs, you know, they're just fighting just to try to keep up processing all that crap food. And we take care of our cars meticulously because we don't, you know, we make sure it runs good and everything. And then we just put all this garbage in our bodies. And you know, God has given us an amazing machine that it did process that stuff. It does process that stuff, and it does eliminate. But your organs have to work really hard to work through all that shit food, you know. And I just think about, like, I feel I can visualize like my organs, all my organs, and they're just relaxed. You know, they're busy because with all the volumes of food, but it's busy feeding and distributing my cells. It's not trying to sort out the crap and saying, like, you know, I can't, this is going to have to pass through the kidneys, but it's not going to end well, you know. And after years and years and years of that, and then, you know, you end up with all different kinds of health issues, you know. So yeah,
I think our organs are doing like the celebratory wave, you know. Woo! Yes, give me that.
Yeah, it's
really.
Like, it's about time, you know. I've been trying to sort through all this crap for over 50 years. Now you get it, you know. So I just feel like everything is just relaxed. It's just doing its job, and I'm doing my job, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, we have Birdie.
Hey, Birdie.
Hi, everybody. You know, it's funny. Like I've said many a times, I've lost this weight. I don't know how many times, but in the past, it's always been, oh my God, how am I going to destroy this? You know, and with this plan, it's so easy if you prepare and then you open the refrigerator and you go, I've got it. You know, you don't even have to like make a food plan or make a meal plan. Like, what am I going to eat today? It's like, you've got it prepared. So you've helped yourself get to the next step. I find that so motivating. And going shopping, I don't always buy, you know, organic. I just buy whatever I have to fulfill. And, you know, I feel like $1,000,000, and I haven't, you know, felt this way about any meal plan ever. And I've been on a lot. You know, when I was 7 years old, it all started, and I'm like 60 years more than that now. And that's the motivation for me, is like, open the refrigerator, what have I got? Or if I'm low on something, you know, you can't let yourself get the stock get low because you got this whole list of what you can eat.
Yeah.
I just it just blows my mind. And all you need to weigh it. I mean, how hard could it be? It's so motivating for me. Even when I'm running here and running there, and I grab that one bag of carrots, and I'm saying, it's kind of crazy, but I'm loving it. It's just a funny thing. My neighbor was going, "Oh, I got to take you to dinner." I always help the guy, I know you don't need to take me to dinner. And I said, I got an idea. I said, we can go to a play. The play would be ideal for me to go with him to a play because, I don't have to worry about food or any of that. And it's just really a relief, basically.
Yeah.
Because all the others, you get to the end of whatever it is you're on or doing, and then it's like, it's up to you now.
Yeah.
Here, it's still up to me, but I've got tools.
Yeah.
And they don't change. I mean, I have so many choices. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And following this plan, it's just kind of like plug and play, It's like here's all the components of the meal. Let me just, this takes care of that one. This is this one. This is this. This is this. Okay, it's a meal. It's just assembly. It's an assembly line,
Even if it doesn't look good and I don't put it up anywhere, it tastes good.
Even if it doesn't match. So what? But yeah, I love your enthusiasm. And how much have you lost so far?
Last time I was on, the scale was
the first,
right?
Yeah,
whatever it was, and that was 23.
Yeah. I've noticed it. I'm noticing it in your face. Well, that's all I see is your face, really. But I'm really noticing it in your face. Your face looks slimmer to me.
But I'll tell you, I have been 234. So like at this setting, I'm at 96 pound loss over the course of, 22 years. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
Yeah.
That's me.
Right.
But the highest when I moved to Florida, I became 234. I didn't know it was me. My husband took a picture of me with this dog in the pool, and I looked at these pictures later. I go, "Who's that fat ass in there?" And he goes, "It's you." Because I avoided mirrors, and you just keep buying bigger clothes. What does it matter? But it was kind of a shocking surprise to me because it's the same old. And this is different.
Yeah, so now you don't have to go back there again. Yeah, you're all set.
Cool.
You're all set, Birdie.
All set.
You got the golden ticket.
Well, I love your enthusiasm too. You can just sense the joy, like you've stumbled into this pot of gold, and I love that. I love hearing from you.
Yeah.
Yay.
Very motivating.
Really cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Next we have Violet.
Hi, Violet.
Yeah, so it is exhausting, that constant let's make a deal mentality with food, and menus and what I did and what I earned and what can I get away with, and this, I don't have that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. It was mentally exhausting. And so I don't have that. It's, you weigh it, this is what you can choose from, and it's a wide selection. This is what you choose from, this is what you eat. It's done. Move on to something else, something more interesting, something more fun, because that used to be my reward. Oh well, I've done this, I've earned it. Oh well, I'm going to give myself a treat, and that stuff just sneaks up on you, and it's just, that's not my treat. Now my treat is I get to take a walk. I get to do an exercise video, just yoga, just something stretching, just something not too intense. But I came in yesterday and I was wearing a blouse I'd just gotten from the thrift store and a pair of loose, comfortable pants. And one of my neighbors, which she lives across the hall, and she's always said, "Oh, you're looking good. You're gaining, you're losing weight and all this." I came in, she was sitting out front. She goes, "Oh, you look really good." I went, "Well, thank you." Yeah, I just go, "Thank you, thank you." You know, and I just go, "Whoo." Inside, I'm like, you know, it's just, that's motivating. That's super motivating. Yeah. And I'm glad I have a before picture. I have a picture that someone else took Christmas 2023. So, and this Memorial Day will be 2 years since I've been eating this way. And I knew I was heavy, but I had no idea. I was that big. My highest weight, I was 280. And that's just horrendous, you know? So now when I see people, overweight people, when I'm walking around and whatnot, I feel a lot of empathy for them. I don't feel angry. I don't feel judgmental, which when I was heavy, I would feel judgmental about it, and I would worry about they were judging me. I don't feel that way anymore. You know, I feel like, oh, I wish I could tell you about this. I can't just run up to people and say, you know, do you know? But if somebody asks me, I will explain it. But I just feel, I don't know. It's not, I feel a little bit of pain for them on their behalf, because it is a painful way to live. I know, I've been there. You know, and then I see and I think, well, I don't ever want to go back there. And then I see people that are even heavier than I was, and I tell myself I was on the way to that. So I'm glad, I'm so grateful that I have put it in reverse, and I'm not there anymore. One of my doctors a few years ago, I was pre-diabetic, just what, I forget what it's called, but anyway, he says, "How many 300-pound 65-year-olds do you know?" And I went, not too many, and they don't last very long, you know. So that was, and of course, you know, to see my doctor's eyes light up and go, "Oh, you're doing so great," you know, that's motivation too. When people give you that positive feedback. And I just, even without that, I feel good. I feel really, really physically good, mentally good, emotionally happy, you know, happy about what I'm doing and happy with myself. So that self-love is very important, and that comes back to taking care of yourself. It's like the airplane thing, put your own oxygen mask on, you know. So you have to really love yourself, take care of yourself before you can truly love other people, you know, and put it out in the world. And that helps just to remember that and to feel that over and over. It helps a lot. Oh, and eating this way is way cheaper than junk food. And I hardly ever eat out. And if I do, it's like this part of the menu. I know exactly where to look, and that's it. That's it. So it's pretty easy at this point. After the first month or two, it got real easy. So I'm never going back to the other way of eating. And this, like I said, it's been almost 2 years now.
Good.
So I'm delighted.
Wonderful.
I'm ecstatic, to be truthful, not delighted. Yeah.
Wonderful. And you know, I feel the same way when I see people, especially young people. I see, you know, young women in their 20s, 30s that are just morbidly obese, and I'm just like, oh, you don't have to do that for another 30 years like I did, you know?
Yeah.
Like, but you don't, it's just not, an intervention is not appropriate. You know, like that would go over like a lead balloon, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you know it.
Yeah. But, yeah, you know, it's just like, oh, have I got something for you? Oh, you know? But, yeah, you're doing great, Violet. I'm glad you're with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, Violet.
I do need this motivation too.
Yeah.
Even though I've been doing this for a while, a couple years now, the motivation, it's like you know, get right back, stay on the tracks, get right back there, you know.
And
it helps.
You don't feel alone.
I could probably do it for a while.
Yeah, and the thing is like when you
right,
know there's so many other people doing it, it's not this freak thing. It's not like I'm doing this alone.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's like
Thank you.
Like when you think about grabbing something to eat, you're like, well, geez, this, you know, before I would think, well, you know, everyone's eating but me. You know, when you're on a diet, you know, and it's just like, you know, look at you're watching like normal eaters eating normally, eating cookies, and I think like, oh, I can do that, and it's like I can't do that. Like I can't.
No,
do that.
I can't.
But I always figured I could. But like I said, it's like just to know, like I don't have to ever touch that stuff again. And I can just really see, like when I see other people in my life and I watch other people eat, I either see people that are normal eaters that eat a cookie and maybe don't finish it and throw it away, or you know, or they don't get seconds, or the potato chips go stale before they're eaten and they get thrown away, like all that stuff. Those are just normal eaters. And then what they show me is they show me who I'm not. Like that's not me. That is not me. I'm so certain of that. And then I see people that are me. You know, I see people and I'll say like, oh, there's me right there. You know, what they're doing with food, that's what I do with food. You know, and so it's just very interesting. So it's important for me to see like that's me, that's not me. You know, instead of me coming up with some big idea that I can just kind of eat like a princess someday. You know, it ain't happening. I'm always going to be a pig.
Yeah, a little bit. I can do it. But now I can't. Yeah. In a way, I look at it like it's a type of addiction.
Yes.
Food, flour and sugar, you know, and it's like, so I don't, it's like offering an alcoholic a drink.
Right.
You know, don't, at this point, it wouldn't matter if you offered me anything, you know, there was not my food, I wouldn't take it. But I know that about myself, just like what you said. I can't eat a little bit.
Yeah.
It would start a little, be a little more. I've done that so many times in my life, gain and lose. And that's why. Oh, I reached my goal. Now, you know, and then the weight just comes back on because I went back to the bad eating. So, but now that I see it as that, as an addiction, like it helps me deal with it.
Yeah.
It does, and it's very easy at this point. Very easy.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah,
Easy
Thank
to say
you, Lulu.
No.
Thank you.
It's easy to say no. I was in Panera Bread the other day. I just went I got a tea and I just had a seat and I just relaxed in Panera Bread. And one of the girls came around, working there. She had a tray with little pieces of cake, some kind of a cake. Right, little bite-sized pieces of cake. And so she was coming to all the tables, you know, and everybody took one, you know. And she came to me. I was like, "Oh no, thank you." And she looked at me like, I was strange, you know. And I just didn't say it. I didn't explain myself. It's just like, I don't want free cake. I always say there's no such thing as free cake or free food, because if it doesn't cost any money, it's not free, because it's gonna cost you in other ways, you know. So good, Violet. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I was just going to add, Violet, I really love that you notice that about yourself, because the noticing too is very motivating, to really notice how other people are, if they're similar to you or if they're different. And I did the same thing. Like on the plane today, the gal next to me, she got a snack. You know, they sell snacks on the plane, and she got a bag of licorice. And she opened it up and she took out like 4 pieces and put it on her napkin and then rolled that up and put it in her bag. And I thought, wow, like, you know, that's not how that would have been gone. And I would have been like, well, I wish there was more. You know what I mean? It was just like, that's not what I would do with that licorice. And I smelled it and I thought, I remember that. And I had my big ass salad, and, I had my mustard on it. And I'm like, that's just not me. And I marvel at that because, and I also notice it and I celebrate it, like that I finally know that. And Lulu, I've said this before, but you told me early on when I was doing this plan, I said how great I felt and how excited I was. And you said, just remember, it doesn't have to end. And I thought it could end if I treat this like a diet to get this weight off, And I realized over the time of working on just having time under my belt and working on my physicality, my mentality, that's where that joy is so motivating, is to really know yourself and know, I'm not just doing something to get these pounds off. I'm like saving my life by following this plan, my whole life, anyway, I just wanted to mention, it's fun to notice the other people that are similar to you or are like, oh, that's not me, because there's no way I would have had 4 little pieces of licorice and rolled that bag down, So thanks for sharing. Thank you for that.
Well, what about the people that have those, like the chocolate bars that have all the little squares on it, and they take like 2 squares and then put it away and have another 2 squares tomorrow? It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Even if that bar is a big king size one, I don't understand how people. I mean, I'm like, well, these are meant for breaking off until they're gone.
Yeah. I think other people look at them. They're portions. Each little square is a portion. For me, every square is a bite. It's like, oh, they put these in bite size for me.
Okay, next we have Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. I love it. I love this group. I look forward to coming every week. I'm doing good. I think I'm on 7 weeks. So come on, you guys, give me some love.
Yay.
I made it past the addiction part, like the withdrawal from the sugar.
Good.
Yeah. And the flour.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe how many carbs I used to eat. That's what blows my mind, And so that's a big adjustment, I think, in my body. But I feel so good. And I'm a journaler. I've journaled for 20 years. So if I want to know how I was feeling when back in my 30s, I can find out. It was all about the food. It was the mental chatter in my brain about, oh, I thought I was going to make it today without eating sugar, and I didn't make it. It was just that roller coaster ride, And I don't have that anymore. It's so wonderful, This is so worth it, because you're nourishing your body, you're eating good food, and like Nicole said, people don't realize how sick they are from eating junk food, and they're going to a doctor or they're missing work or anything. There's just so much going on that they don't realize that if they were taking care of themselves, their bodies, and loving themselves, it would be worth it to spend money on good food.
Yeah.
So, and I had a birthday last week, and then my friend, she's not following this plan, it's so funny because her and I once a year, we go to our favorite restaurant down here in Fort Myers, and it's a farm to table restaurant. And so I was able to find, something that I could eat, salad and glass of water. And, I had a piece, what did I have on there? Some shrimp, and it was really good. But the waitress, how they like to upsell you at the end because it's going to make their bill higher. And so she came back and she goes, well, and she asked my friend, would you like to get any dessert? And I know my friend Sandy, if I wasn't there, she would be getting a dessert. But she was such a good friend. I mean, she's like, no, I think we're good. And then she looked at me and she goes, well, how about you? And I said, no, I'm good. I just said, no, thank you. And Sandy, I don't know why she said this. She goes, it's her birthday today. Well, of course, then they're going to send you a free one. something free. And I go, oh no, that's okay. I'm so full. And so what they do there is they have cute little miniature donkeys and miniature goats. And they actually have the cow who was in all the Chick-fil-A commercials. He's like a resident at this place. He's never going to get slaughtered, and you can take pictures with them. And oh, it's so cute. So they give you a bag full of fresh vegetables, and you can go feed them, the animals around, little baby piglets. And so that was like my fun dessert, I was so filled with joy going there, knowing I enjoyed my favorite restaurant. I didn't have to leave there feeling over full, and got to see all my animals because I was raised on a farm, and it just brings me delight. So it was awesome. Yep.
That sounds
I'm
like a
keeping
beautiful...
on going. I'm keeping on with this one. This is a good one, Lulu. Everybody, this is a good...
Yeah.
Just a good thing.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're just responding so well to this plan, and your body loves it, and you pass the cravings, which is really a nice place to be. It's just so much more comfortable. But it's hard to get through that. But you did it. You did it. But anybody that's struggling to get through it, the only way to the other side of it is through it. You got to go through it.
Go through.
Yep. And you did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, why would we want to jeopardize going back to that? Because then you have to start all over.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to start anything again. I'm done.
Don't do it. I'm done.
So, done.
So good to be with all you guys.
Yay. Good. Sounds like a happy birthday. You handled yourself
perfectly. It was my best birthday, I would say.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, I love it.
Yep.
You're beaming with joy.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Debbie. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Next, we have Carol.
Hi, Carol.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Wonderful.
Good to be with you. As we have been talking, one of the things I remembered from a previous weight loss experience was you can Google, I lost blank pounds. That's the same as blank. There are some pictures that come up. So I lost 42 pounds. That's the same as a moose's antlers. So, but as I was, one of the things it said, just the AI response was 42 pounds is the same as a full 5-gallon bucket. Well, on my camper, there's that 5-gallon cassette to my toilet, that you pull it out and roll it to the dump station. So I'm like, oh, I'm not carrying around 42 pounds of stuff. So, yeah, I think about when I've waited till the last minute to empty my honey pot, and it's terrible to have to pick up that 42 pounds. That's a lot of shit, So, that, I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
So I encourage y'all to entertain yourselves by filling in the blank and seeing what comes up for you.
Yeah.
I was diagnosed in 2013 in April with idiopathic intracranial hypertension. And so I've lived with that for 13 years. And my next appointment at UAB, Birmingham, is in January. And I so much want to hear the doctor say I'm in remission. And I think with what I've seen happen in 5 months, to think about the next few months and keeping on making progress, I could get a good report from that doctor after over a decade. My motivation as I'm looking at, I'm 57, so there's 5 years until my first possible opportunity to retire. And, I want to go on this great adventure. I want to get in that van and drive the heck away from this town. And I will be much better suited to do that as I stay on the wagon.
Yes.
And last year, when my general practitioner said she wanted to put me on a statin, it was the first time I didn't say, no, I'll do better, I'll take care of this, you know. It was the point where I actually just kind of had a relinquishment moment, you know. I realized all the times that I had said I would handle it and I didn't, you know, had caught up with me. So I feel like that whole, I always hated the idea that you have to admit you're powerless over something. But in recovery groups, I just hated that point that you have to admit you're powerless. And I think it took me having to admit powerlessness in order for me to give up on my faults, I guess my denial, to move into a better way. So I appreciate you all, and it's so good to be here and good to see friends who I've met at different camping trips and meetups, and hey Janae. It's just so good to see y'all, and I'm grateful to be on the journey with you.
Yeah, oh, so nice to hear from you, Carol. And you know, when you talk about that vision that you have of that freedom, you're going to hop in that van and get out of here and stuff, you're not going to be tied to doctor's appointments. There's people that are tied to their area because they've got serious health issues, and you know, you've got to stay by, you know, and you can just clean that mess up.
My with my job, I can be appointed anywhere around North Alabama, and I've always said I need to be in a straight shot of, you know, the interstate so I can get to UAB hospital, you know, if something was to happen. So it'll be good to not have that bird hanging around the neck in the Homer's Odyssey. Yeah, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, like it's just like a ball and chain. Yeah. So that thing that you were diagnosed with, you said the word hypertension. Is that high blood pressure?
Now, this is increased cerebrospinal fluid on the brain that was causing pressure on my optic nerve and optic disc and could have taken my eyesight from me.
Oh.
So, yeah, that was a scary...
And is that something that is potentially could just be gone from you?
Yes, it can be. And women who are fat, fertile, and 40 are at higher risk. So weight loss helps. They wouldn't say that weight caused it. I think it was a combination of weight and trauma and, you know, other unhealthy things. But losing weight can help cure it. So.
There you go. Cure yourself, Carol. Mm-hmm. Cure yourself. Mm-hmm. You have the power to make a different life for yourself. How cool is that?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's motivation.
Yeah. You might be powerless over the food, but you've got the power to change. You do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good, Carol.
I also think your idea is absolutely adorable, and you should post that on Facebook. That would be so much fun.
What
the Googling what your weight loss is equivalent to. And I just did it really quick, and my top 3 are a full-grown panda, 1,200 eggs. You know how I love my eggs. 1,200 eggs.
Oh.
And a full-size refrigerator door.
Oh. Imagine carrying a full-size refrigerator door everywhere you went.
Or a full-grown panda.
A full-grown panda.
Well, that would be kind of fun. I might not get very far, but I would really love that if he was friendly. But that's so cute. What a cute idea. What a joyful thing.
God. Yeah, everyone's going to Google that now.
Yeah. Google's going to be like, what is going on? Yeah. Why are so many people obsessed with this suddenly?
Yeah, and
that's adorable, Carol.
And they're all on Lulu's Way groups.
Yep, the algorithm is going to go bananas. Okay, so now we'll pick up with Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Thank you. Hi. I love you guys. You're so much fun. You're making my whole week, I tell you. I've been working really hard to stick on my program, and I took the group's advice last month. Well, I think it was the weigh-in day when I was afraid to add the starch to my dinner because I was doing the Bright Line meeting.
Right.
But I was convinced, so I went ahead and I thought, okay, for March, I did my 7.5 pounds because that was my original motivation. Is I'm over 200 and I'm 5'2", and I'm now down to 201. I've lost 9.9, which I'd like to know what the animal for that is. But I do remember, okay, I do remember when my kids were young, I had to buy my son a bowling ball one time. And I remember it was in the back of this huge warehouse store, and I had to carry it to the counter, and how tired I got just carrying that 10-pound ball. And now I've got like 7 10-pound balls on my body.
Right.
And I think so, listening to you guys with all the energy, that's one of the motivations is I just want some energy. I'm very tired and sedentary. I'm 72, but that's no excuse. I look at Lulu and you're like 25, you know? You're so inspiring. So you're a big motivator for me. And plus you have a life, you know, you do things, you have fun out there. And I want to be like that when I grow up, although I'm older than you, but still. So I did add the starch. I'm having those delicious sweet potatoes that you have every night. And I'm even pretending I'm you when I'm eating it and going, oh, so good.
But they are really good.
They are. Wow. And so then the last thing I wanted to mention was that I went to my doctor. In January, I had all my numbers done and everything was perfect except I have high cholesterol. So when I went for my wellness check, it was only been 2 months later, but 1 month in program here, and losing that little bit of weight. Just 1 month, I went from high cholesterol numbers to borderline high. And I thought after 1 month, the numbers, just to see them come down like that, I was just so encouraged. So I just, and the one other thing you said that really helped me was you don't do recipes. Because I'm always looking for recipes. Oh, I'll make a meatloaf. I'll make a muffin. I'll make this by mixing things together. But I recently heard that the less variety you eat and the less, involved you get with all of that, the easier it is to stick with your plan. So I'm going to just do what you do. I'm going to make the components. Yeah. And I saw a video of this guy. He boils a big pot of water. And he chopped up his carrots, his broccoli, his Brussels sprout. And first he cooked the carrots for 5 minutes or 4 minutes. Then you take them out and put them on a rack, on a tray. Then you put your Brussels sprouts in. And then you put your whatever, green beans, whatever vegetables. And here he had this whole array. It reminded me of your video of that house where your daughter was moving in but went to Florida.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved that video because I've always been encouraged by people making the food, showing me how to make all the different things and time it, and so that was what it reminded me of. And it's you just put salt in the water. You don't even have to have all the sauces or anything. You just have some salted vegetables. You have your carrots, you have your Brussels sprout, and I can just put the components on a plate with my pre-cooked chicken or salmon or whatever my food is. So it's getting easier. So, but I wanted to make sure, because my motivation was to lose weight. I only want to weigh once a month, but because I added that starch, I've been worried. And so I checked, and I'm down 2 pounds since I started at the 1st of April. So I'm okay. So I'm not going to keep looking at the scale now.
Don't look.
But I will say that the satisfaction of having that starch with my dinner is going to maybe help me never binge again, because I'm a binge eater. I lose my weight and then binge it all back on.
Yeah.
And I've always said this is funny that you keep saying I don't want to get on that train, because I just told somebody earlier, it's like there's a train in my brain and it goes all the way down the track, and when it hits this certain high weight that I hit every time, then it turns around and goes back the other way and I binge it all back on. And when you said I don't want to get on that train, I thought, that's it. That's the train. I'm not going to get on that train anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah, that's remarkable because, sometimes you might have the mentality, I want it to be faster. And just to realize, just follow the plan, because you're going to enjoy every meal. Mm-hmm. You're going to be so satiated. You're not going to be looking around like, how can I trim this down and go faster? It just removes all that craziness. And I find that to be just peaceful and joyful too. Like it's just a big part of it. I wanted to tell you, so 9.9 pounds, you've lost yourself a bowling ball or a gallon of paint or 80 eggs.
80 eggs?
80 eggs.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think we should start recording our monthly weight loss in eggs. I would love that.
That would be our total, how many eggs we lost.
Yeah.
Kathy, when you were saying how, this drastic change in your cholesterol after only losing 9.9 pounds, it's really it's about the weight loss, but it's also about what you've been feeding your body, because you can lose 9.9 pounds by eating high cholesterol things, just very little of it. Your body's not really functioning properly because it's not getting all the nutrients it needs, but you can just eat steak or whatever, high cholesterol things and still lose weight if you're not eating a lot of it, right? Mm-hmm. And you're not going to see a change in your cholesterol like that. Right. So I think what's happening is not just that you've lost weight, that your cholesterol come down, but that you're actually, it's almost like this, like all this healthy food you're eating is kind of like a scrub brush going through you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Going through your whole blood system and just cleaning things out. My cells are doing a happy dance. Oh, your cells are like, this is awesome. Okay, now we're cranking. Let's get rid of this cholesterol. Let's go chew some of that away, and everything's taking care of itself with the healthy food. So it's the healthy food and the weight loss. Well, I'm so glad you guys convinced me to eat that starch, because I have never, in the Bright Line Eating, they always tell you can't have that starch with your dinner till you get your weight off, but I've never made it. I've tried and I always binge my weight back up, and I thought, I'm never going to get a starch. I'm going to have to live without it the rest of my life. And it just, you need that. I feel like I always needed it to feel like I'm not dieting. Yeah. I'm eating now. Yes, it's a full meal. It's just enjoy every bite of it. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Kathy.
Kathy is very motivating.
Yes, she is. I'm motivated even more. Okay, next we have Stacy.
Stacy Brown. Hey, girl.
Yay!
So I like what you said about that starch, Carol, because for me, I would try to reduce starches, and I always felt hungry. So on Lulu's food plan, the combination, the proportion of foods felt absolutely perfect for my body. So even though it took me a while to lose the weight, I felt fantastic just right away. Violet, I like what you said about addiction, food addiction. I don't feel like I had a food addiction, but I mainly struggled with bread. But I can see how I was addicted to thinking about food, because I didn't like to cook, and I'd always struggle with figuring out what was I going to make for dinner for the family, and that stressed me out so much. So just having these meals all planned out is like, I feel like I just am on vacation all the time. I feel like I have so much free time. So that's a blessing. I also feel like my taste buds keep getting more like sensitive because the food just keeps tasting better. And I can't believe it. I remember I would say to my husband, "Oh, this is the greatest salad I ever had." And he said, "You said that last night." I said, "It really is tonight. It's just the best." So I'm so happy to see everybody here, all of the new people. And I would just encourage you to just keep coming to these calls. I know for me, I would not have been successful without these calls because I heard of situations that people would get into. And then when I got into those situations, I just knew exactly what to do. So that really helped me. But I'm excited for everybody here. And it's amazing to see so many new people really, sticking with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree. The new people that are just, they're in it to win it. It's just very motivating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you know that they're all going through that real tough time, the real, the cravings and stuff, and trying to get to the other side of that. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's so great.
And I like that everyone is so willing to share their feelings about what's going on, because a lot of other people are feeling those things too, and maybe they can't articulate it, but I feel like I am in a different person's body, and I know I look different, but I feel like everything about my life is different. It's just it's so incredible. I can't believe it. Just this peace that I have all the time. And I would say that I didn't have a lot of bad days in my life, but a lot of neutral days. And now it's just good days. Every day is a good day, and I'm so grateful. I just love you, Lulu and Nicole, and everyone else. I love all of you. But I can't believe I was so blessed to really find out about this.
Yeah. I'm so glad you're here, Stacy. And it sounds like you got new Wi-Fi.
Yes, we have Starlink today.
Ooh.
It's so weird. Like, we couldn't get internet where we live. We're just in a weird spot.
Yeah.
So it's just so weird.
You have internet. So you're back you're back sharing with us. Good.
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Great to be here.
Good. Great.
Thank you.
Great, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy. Next we have Marie.
Hey, Marie.
Hey, everybody. I had just been reading. It was a quote. It's slow is the way to go. Fast doesn't last. So I think related to what Kathy was saying about wanting it to be faster. But, when we do it this way, it's long lasting. I know we like the immediate results, but I think part of the immediate results is just feeling better. And that's remarkable.
Yeah.
And I think for the new people here, you've stumbled on something that I think for many people is a lifesaver. Like listening to Carol's story, I am really curious about what her follow-up appointment is going to be. I jumped on because I went to a new pulmonologist today. My old pulmonologist is retired, so he sent me to a new pulmonologist. And I had the pulmonary function test and everything, and I don't have COPD. I don't have to go back. I don't know why. I've lost 35 pounds. I don't know what that is in animals or eggs, but I know the previous pulmonologist had said every 5 pounds takes, weight from the diaphragm and makes breathing easier. But to actually have, a disease, and he said, your test is fine. I don't have to go back.
Were you diagnosed? Were you diagnosed with COPD?
Yeah, I've been going to a pulmonologist for 4 years, at least 5 years,
Wow,
5-6 years already.
Marie.
And I was on inhalers and different things, and people who know me know I don't like taking medication. And it's not like I was having asthma attacks or something where I needed something. It was just to help breathing, and I wasn't taking anything, and we just kept checking, and I had to have CAT scans done because there's nodules, but they've remained stable. So after X amount of years, they were like, you really don't need the CAT scans. But then this doctor told me, well, we still like to do them every year. And I said, I think I'm good right now. But I was really happy about the COPD. You know, I said, is there anything that I can do to increase lung function? And he said, your lung function is fine. You know, so now it's just like exercise tolerance. Get out there and start doing more stairs. And I was on Moving and Grooving, and somebody was hula hooping for a half an hour. Somebody else, whose name we won't mention, was jumping rope. And I said, the palace of possibilities. It's so encouraging and so life-changing. And so grateful and excited to be here and always hear. These stories don't get old. They just get better and better.
I know.
And it's wonderful.
It doesn't get old.
No, it doesn't get old.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Wow.
So I have no explanation other than weight loss, and as we know, let food be thy medicine.
Yeah.
And so that's the way that I'm.
Weight loss and food choices. Your food choices. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Your cells are excited.
My cells are very excited, and so am I. Yes.
And they're healing. They're healing you. They've healed you.
They're healing. That's the thing. We have the ability to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
I love that, the palace of possibilities.
Yeah.
And it's 280 eggs, Marie.
280. That's a lot of eggs.
Or a car tire.
Oh, that's not fun. I want to.
Well, you know, go with the eggs. Oh my gosh! Thank you so much, Marie.
House cat.
Thank you, Marie. Okay, next we have Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi, everybody. I got here a little bit late. I'm having a really terrible bad day, but I looked up. I never did this before, but I looked up on Google what 23 pounds looks like, and it says it's over 90 sticks of butter. So that's really expensive stuff. And truly I had no idea how much butter I was using, but that's an eye opener too.
Wow.
But you all helped me get a little brighter at the end of the day.
Good.
Thank you.
Good, Kathy. I'm glad you're here.
Hang in there, Kathy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tough day.
Okay, we'll finish up with Sue. Hi, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, good afternoon. Greetings. I love the motivation. I've got a couple of girlfriends that I've invited to join Lulu's Way. And it's like, how do you explain Lulu's Way? And it was like, I brought it back to ground zero. What got me motivated? Watching Lulu cook and explaining how to use the food scale, explaining everything, which got, that's what I sent these ladies to. I said, go watch Lulu's Way. And just to get motivated to start that journey. And it took me a couple of months to figure out what you were doing. And then I got it. Then I told my girlfriends the next step is just join the meetings. Because these ladies will have, and I'm speaking to anybody that's new out there, if it takes a couple of months to get it, how to use a food scale. I never used my Instapot. Lulu just explained everything. It took a couple of months of really good explanation. And then you guys brought it home as far as prep but motivation, it just answers all of our problems, when we're sick, how do we eat? When we travel, how do we eat? Home improvement with no kitchen sink, how do we work it? But so like I said, I had to take it down to ground zero to motivate these two friends of mine. How do you explain Lulu's Way? You want to be healthy, all the things. And Lulu, I think it's taken it right, zeroing in on you, your example, your testimony, And the way you cook and the way you do things motivates people to live healthy and eat well. And so I'm sending them to you, girl. And I hope they'll join us. I hope my friends will be here the next couple of weeks. But I just wanted to speak out to all the new people if they're out there. Don't be discouraged. Just takes a couple of months to fully get it. Yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah. And by the way, 65 pounds down, I lost a 12-year-old boy and a German Shepherd, and 5 cans and a bag of cement and 5 gallons of paint.
Whoa.
Woo!
You gotta feel great.
That 12-year-old boy was getting heavy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Thank you, Sue.
Great,
That's
Sue.
the best. Okay, I see Lenny, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Lenny.
I put my hand up the last couple times, but it gets put down somehow.
Oh.
But I'm here now and real happy to be here. Kathy in Florida, happy birthday. I keep finding new ways to get motivated and new things that are important to me. Right now I'm doing a thing called the Tri-City Trifecta. And it's a dog training thing that a bunch of people do in my area, where you go to 3 different dog training clubs and train Monday at 1, Wednesday at 1, Friday at 1. And this is week 3 of that. And I'm tired. I'm really tired. But I'm so glad to do it. The things that motivated me at first was I wanted to sit cross-legged in my van. And I couldn't do it. I wanted to be Laura, Lulu's friend Laura. That she's got the layout of her van like I want, and I was just so impressed that she could sit cross-legged. So that's what I wanted to do, and I'm still working on it. Sherry, that does the yoga, she talked about how pigeon pose was her enemy, or not enemy, but her challenge, and it is also mine. So I just keep on coming up with new things that help me find my bliss. It's my bliss, that thing that makes me happy and go, wow, I'm here. Week 2 of that trifecta, last Friday, Yahtzee, my dog, and I scored 3rd among some really high-end competitors, and we got lucky. Okay. Yesterday, when we were at another place, we bombed out. So nothing's in your control. I felt like tears, but I'll take all of that. I'll take all of those emotions. I'll take all of that excitement. I'll take all of the tiredness, and I'll just keep on knowing what my next meal is. And that makes me really, really happy. So thank you for letting me share.
Thanks, Lenny.
Thanks, Lenny.